Hey baby, how you doing?
This is not that type of show, ladies. Just having a little bit of fun. You can go ahead and smile. And now let's move along to the topic of the day.
So why exactly do you want to know men's secrets? Well, that's right, you're looking for love. Well, you're in the right place. First of all, I'd like to let everyone know that since you're watching this video, I've captured your IP address for your computer and I know exactly where you live, and I'm gonna go ahead and broadcast to all your friends and family that you're looking for love on the internet. No, I'm not gonna do that, I'm just kidding. And I don't have your IP addresses for those of you that are not really computer literate, I'm just messing with you. In this video, we wanna talk about some 10 tips for finding love on the internet as far as online dating. Sites like Match.com and eHarmony and OkCupid and plenty of fish. Or plenty of fakes, as some people have called it. Anyway, let's get right into it. So these are 10 tips that are gonna help you out to find that perfect guy that you're looking for. And we mean quote unquote perfect, because no guy is perfect, of course. You have to take the good with the bad. The thing is, you wanna find someone that has mostly good and tolerable bad. But there's definitely gonna be bad in every guy you find, just like there's gonna be bad in every one of you ladies for us men. So let's get right into it. 10 tips. Now these are coming from the perspective of a man, which I am. So when I'm looking online and I go to profiles, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, of course, because why would a guy like me need, online dating? I got women just throwing themselves at my feet every day as soon as I walk out the door. That's a normal thing. Okay, seriously. So the perspective is me looking at your profiles and what I think. So these are 10 things that you should know or consider in terms of setting up your profile when you're looking for that Mr. Right. So let's go ahead and start, first of all, with one of my pet peeves. Please, let's talk about photos. Please do not do this. I don't know what it is. I hate it. I'm automatically skipping you. If I'm scrolling through, I do a search and I see your photo and you got the pucker up, kiss lips, whatever you want to call it, I am so out of there. It looks so silly to me. And then I also think to myself, it's not just a matter of how it looks. I say to myself, this woman took this photo and then she looked at the photo and she thought this actually looks good enough to put on her profile. And I'm considering how, women can be very sensitive to how they look. Oh, am I a little bit, overweight? How do I look in this dress? How is my hairstyle? All that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, knowing how picky they are, want to make sure they look great and perfect or whatever. And they took this photo and they were like, this passes my standards or whatever. So don't do that. No kissy face photos. All right, so that's tip number 1, no kissy face photos. All right, now let's go to tip number 2. Be original. It's like deja vu. Have I heard this before? A lot of profiles, people will say the same things over and over again. There's popular things, I want to live my life to the fullest, I'm looking for my king, or, whatever it is. You might want to look at some other women's profiles and see what they're saying so you can avoid things that are just being overused and just seem so unoriginal, and it's just really uninspiring for us men. We're looking at this and it's not helping you at all. Be original. Come up with something original. Spend some time and come up with something creative that really expresses the uniqueness of your personality. We all have very unique aspects to our personality, and it's up to you to be able to find what your uniqueness is. What's the really special thing about you, your sense of humor, whatever it is. Find that and try to put it into words and be unique. All right, so let's go to tip number 3. Be honest. Be honest. Don't try to trick us. Don't try to bait and switch. Whenever I see a really super close-up photo and all the shots are super close-up, I'm thinking that this woman is huge. Because that's a trick that women do when they're overweight and they're sensitive. Then they want to hide the rest of their body. That makes no sense at all. Because let's say you have a pretty face and I click on your profile. I know what some women are thinking. They think that they're going to be so amazing, their personality or whatever it is, that they're going to win this guy over. But I'm sorry, if a guy is not into, a certain body size, you're just not going to change their minds, and it's best to be upfront. You don't want to start a relationship on something deceptive, because it also makes you look bad in that sense, because I'm thinking, here's this woman, she's trying to trick me. We haven't even started anything yet, and already she's being dishonest. So don't be dishonest. Put those full shots in there. There's guys who actually like, what do you call it? BBW, big, beautiful women, I think it is. And there's guys who don't necessarily like it, but they will tolerate it. They're open-minded. Maybe they're more focused on personality. So just be real, be real. Now, if you're concerned about your looks and you're like, all these other skinny girls or whatever, and I'm overweight, so, I'm starting off with already losing a lot of points potentially because of my looks. And I'm saying that in terms of what you may be thinking. Because remember, there's guys who actually like, what is it, more cushion for the pushing. So if you're thinking like that, then maybe perhaps consider getting professional photos done. Just make sure they look candid. You don't want candid photos. You don't want photos that are going to look too contrived or whatever. Just you want it to look natural. So you may want to hire a professional photographer and have him take some photos, and stress that you want them to be as candid as possible. And that can help you out, because if you're concerned about your looks, you can certainly present yourself in a better manner by having professional photos done. And it's not that you're tricking anyone. The thing about it is, if you take a bad photo, you can actually make yourself, look, what's the word? It's potential that you actually look better in person than your photo, is what I mean. A photo can actually take away from your beauty. So be aware of that. Now, if you get a professional photographer, he can help to maximize the beauty that you actually have. Not that he's adding anything, he's just making sure that whatever beauty you have, whether it's your eyes or a particular feature, he's gonna make sure that that is presented well in the photo, as opposed to a bad photo, which can make you look actually bigger than you are, or other weird things from the photo. So that's a tip that you can use. That's a little bonus there. So the next thing is be aggressive. Be aggressive. A lot of women, they join and they have all these emails coming in. You have a pretty face, you're gonna get a lot of emails, and you kind of have this, the culture says to us that the man is supposed to pursue the woman and all that kind of stuff, and women, you feel like the men should approach you. Forget about that. You want to find Mr. Right. So don't play any games. Don't get into all this traditional stuff that may or may not make sense. Go out there and get the man of your dreams. Go look at profiles, do your searches. You see someone, send them an email. We love that, because we don't get responses. Men don't get responses. See how you're getting all those emails that you're getting? We don't get that. So we absolutely love it when you reach out to us. And it's kind of like you're taking charge of the situation, and you're actually starting off the situation in a great light, because your initial contact is a positive one, because the guy's like, wow, she reached out to me. And then he looks at your profile. If it's cool, it's kind of, wow, this woman's great. She looks great, and she actually reached out to me. Wow, she has a lot of confidence. It's very attractive. Can be a little bit of a turn on as well. So be aggressive. You see something you like, reach out and I don't want to say grab someone, but just send some emails. All right, so let's move on to another one. This is interesting. We want to have sex with you ladies. Now, that's obviously the case. The question or the concern is, or what I want to express to you is that a lot of the guys on these sites, whatever the sites are really ultimately focused on sex. They're looking for someone who looks really attractive that they can potentially sleep with, either a one-night stand, or they're willing to spend weeks or maybe even months to possibly get to the point where they'll have sex with you. That's what you're up against. Typically for a guy, we have women that are looking for money. Free drinks, I will wine and dine you. Some women, they give up on looking for the perfect guy, and then they focus on, I'm going to get all these freebies and things like that. So we men need to be aware of that. As a woman, what you need to be aware of is that a lot of men are looking for sex. Now, there are men like myself who are looking for more than that, and our focus is on personality. But I think it's very important that you realize that most of the men there are looking for sex. So that means you need to strategize to keep that in mind. Because if you're not looking for sex, if you're looking for a strong relationship, long-term relationship, then you need to be aware of what you're up against. So come up with strategies that can help you to weed out the guys that just want sex and identify the guys that are more serious. Some tips I'll just leave for you is someone who has a more detailed, longer profile. He took the time to actually put something together that's well written. It's a lot of effort, to put into the whole thing. So that kind of means the guy's probably a little more serious. And also the guys who have paid accounts versus free accounts, like Plenty of Fish, I believe, and also OkCupid, you can have a free account or a paid account. A guy who's paying money now, you know what I mean? For him to spend more money. Now, not to say a player is not going to be willing to spend some money if that can potentially help him out, but just these are little clues that you can look at. And also look at how the conversation goes. A lot of guys can be very crude, so they can steer the conversation to sex pretty quickly. I know you women get a lot of inappropriate photos and things like that. So all these are red flags that can warn you right away that this guy is not serious. What is his interest? Is he focused on your personality and getting to know you, or is he more focused on how you look and talking about sex and things like that? So those are little clues for you to look out for. But just keep in mind, a lot of guys on these sites are just looking for sex. A lot of times it's the women who want relationships, men just want sex. That's not all the case. Obviously there's exceptions like myself as well, but just bear in mind that that's what you're up against. Now, tip number 6 is put those goodies away. Put those goodies away. When I look at a profile and I see boobs all over the place and I see butt shots and all this kind of stuff, sexually suggestive, sexually suggestive shots, I'm automatically running away from you. I'm not looking for a one-night stand. And I see a shot like that, I'm thinking you're devaluing yourself. I'm thinking this woman, you're so weak that your only thing that you have to offer is your body. Like you couldn't rely on your personality and just your looks or whatever it is. You had to go to the lowest common denominator. A lot of guys are very sexually driven, so you're gonna put the boobs out there to get people, the guys thinking with the small brain and not the big brain, and it's just that's not a good look. Now, if you're looking for sex, you may say, well, hey, I just want a one-night stand, so I got to show the goods, right? Well, yes and no. For the guys who are looking for sex, I think even them, guys, there's a lot of ego going on. This whole concept of conquest, right? Some guys are more into it than others, but when you're showing all this stuff like that, it makes you look cheap, and if you're cheap, that means just about any guy can have you and probably already had you already, so you're not really a prize. So what you want to do if you're looking for a one-night stand or something like that, casual sex, I'm not going to judge you for that, is you want to show the goods, but do it in a very, very strategic manner. So take photos that don't just put it in your face, but if a guy really, really wants to check out your body or get an idea of what your body looks like under your clothes, you'll be able to do it. So, maybe certain profile shots would show cleavage just through how your clothes look, as opposed to actually showing the actual cleavage and the actual skin. That's actually a no-no. Don't want to be showing any sexually affiliated skin, all right? But you can show your form through whatever you're wearing. But make sure that you don't look like you're trying to do this. It has to be. Take a photo where a guy can feel like he's clever enough to examine the photo with his x-ray vision and see what maybe wasn't meant to be seen. Although, you actually did mean for it to be seen. Be a little bit clever, be a little bit more creative with how to show the goodies without actually showing the goodies. And that's all I have for that. So move on to tip number 7. Be flexible. I met a woman, but a woman messaged me on OkCupid. And she said, oh, you didn't read my profile. I only want to meet people within the city that I live in. I looked at where she was to where I was, and I was only 5 miles outside of an acceptable zone. So now I could have been her, Mr. Right, and we could have had a wonderful relationship. I know we couldn't just based on the conversation we had, but I'm just saying, she didn't know that, right? I could have been Mr. Right, and she would have totally missed out on that for 5 miles. Are you kidding me? Let me give you ladies a reality check. I don't want to dishearten you, but if you're looking for a quality man, and if you are in fact a quality woman, you don't have a lot of options. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you don't have a lot of options. A lot of guys tend to be immature, not looking for relationships. They're thinking about sex and things like that, having a good time. And you're probably not looking for those things, but that's going to be a majority of the men. You're looking for a very, very small percentage of the men that are actually available. So with that in mind, you have to be flexible. Don't let something as trivial as 5 miles sabotage your dream of finding the perfect man. And there's other little things. Case in point, I'm in the same boat in reverse. I generally would prefer a woman who is 100% drug free. So no alcohol, no cigarettes. But I did a search one time for women that don't drink, and I think I got 19. That's pretty bad. But with that in mind, I said, well, what about a woman who just has some wine with dinner or something like that? So I expanded my horizons, and you need to do the same thing. You need to have the same attitude as well. Don't let silly things be deal breakers that absolutely do not need to be deal breakers. So really spend some time and think about those things that you consider to be deal breakers. Ask yourself really, why is it a deal breaker? What is the risk here? What are you trying to avoid? And is it worth potentially eliminating a great guy for this one thing? So consider that. Moving on to the next thing. So tip number 8, friend zone is awesome. Friend zone is awesome. Usually women are afraid of friend zone, right? You want a guy to think you're so hot and for him to be so into you and to feel desired. It's all great. But again, I don't want to dishearten anyone, but finding that perfect guy is going to be challenging, and it's going to take some time, most likely for most of you. So with that in mind, you've got to really be creative. You've got to really look at the big picture. You've got to really, really be smart, like subscribing to this channel and getting great tips like I'm about to give you right now. You find someone who looks kind of cool, but some deal breaker, and it's a significant deal breaker, so you're right to not pursue them. However, if a lot of stuff look cool to you, and like let's say you're OkCupid where there's a percentage match, so it tells you how much of a match you are, and you had a high percentage match, at a minimum, this guy could be potentially a great friend. I mean, you guys think alike. You have a high match percentage. That means a lot of the ways that you think and the way you live your life matches with them. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? May not be a lover material, but this is probably someone who could be a great friend you have some great times with. And who knows? Maybe through time and getting to know them, you might actually realize that what you thought was a problem was you were mistaken about that. Or maybe that's not the case and it just becomes a friendship and nothing more. But there's an added bonus. We guys tend to have guys as friends, right? What if one of my friends is Mr. Right? And by you allowing me into your life, you get access to my friend. You're in my circle. Again, if a lot of things about my personality match with you, there's a good chance that the people that I associate with would also be very close to a match for you as well. And maybe one of my friends is that Mr. Right. So, or a friend of a friend. The thing about it is expanding your social circle. You have a very challenging task of finding, Mr. Right. So with that in mind, you've really, really got to be creative. You really, really got to be flexible, and you've got to open up as many options as possible. Yes, you have to be efficient, especially on a dating site. You look pretty. You can have a lot of guys, emailing you. You need to be efficient in terms of getting rid of guys who are definitely not the one for you. But on the same token, You want to be careful of potentially closing doors that could lead to finding Mr. Right. Keep as many doors open that could potentially lead to finding that Mr. Right for you. So let's move on to the next tip. Take your time. Take your time. There's no rush. You know, a lot of women, I don't know what it is. It's like they want to rush to marriage. They want to rush to a romantic relationship. Take your time. Take your time. Finding the right person and getting involved in a loving, romantic, committed relationship, long-term relationship. It could be the most amazing thing. So isn't it worth investing some good time? Look at how much time we invest in our careers. People will spend 4 years to get a degree, investing in their career. You want to buy a house, you can spend a lot of time looking at a lot of different houses and spending a lot of time thinking about it and analyzing it, But a woman will find a guy who's cute and he's fun, and right away she wants to get all excited and jump into a committed relationship before she, steps back and thinks logically. Think with your brain before you start thinking with your heart. Right? Before she does that, and then she jumps the gun, and then down the road she's like, I can't believe he's this way. Of course he's that way. Why would you be surprised that there's some major thing about his personality that you're not aware of when you jumped into things? Of course you're going to miss things. Take your time. There's no rush. Now, just like you don't have a massive selection, same thing applies to guys. If you're looking for a really good guy, he's not going to have a lot of selection as well. Sure, there's lots of pretty girls, lots of girls you can have sex with and have a good time with, but looking for the right match for a long-term committed relationship, the few good guys are not going to have that big of a selection. So don't have the attitude of, I got to hurry up before all the good guys are taken. I don't think that's something you need to be worrying about. Just focus on, finding the right guy, taking your time, building a good friendship where you get to know each other, you trust each other, and then if everything lines up the way it should be, then the sky's the limit, and go from there. So take your time. And tip number 10, it's a horrible smile. Smile, but not like that, because that looked absolutely ridiculous. Smile. I hate to see photos of women without smiling, these weird postures. I see photos of women that look all serious, and I'm thinking attitude, and just weird looks. Smile. We're looking for women to have a good time with. Now, I don't mean that kind of good time. Well, to some of us, they are looking for that kind of good time. But in general, we want someone that we can have a good time with. We're going to laugh together, have a great time together. So looking at your photo, we want to see that. We want to see, get the feeling of that energy, that joy that we can potentially get from getting to know you. So smile in your photos. And I'm going to give a number 11. This is a bonus. And I'm giving this bonus because of all you women that actually subscribe to my channel. You saw this video, you're like, this is awesome. I want to know more men's secrets. On this channel, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you things that other guys don't want me to say to you. Because I don't care. I don't have any loyalty to any guys or any bro club or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to tell you like it is. Tell you straight up. So all the things that you've been wondering about guys and how they think and how they view you and things like that, I will let you know. And that's why you're subscribing right now. And as a thank you for subscribing, I'm giving you bonus number 11, which is drop that ego. When you join these sites, if you look good, or you don't have to even look all that good, you look decent, if you're pretty at all, you're gonna get tons of emails. You're probably gonna get, depending on the website, 10 to 20 emails a day. You're gonna get 30, 40 visits a day. It can be much higher depending on how great you look. And a lot of women will feel like they have so many options and, I'm in control. I'm gonna pick the perfect man. I have such a selection. So since the selection is so great, I'm gonna be able to nitpick and get exactly. He's gonna be a super hunk, and he's gonna have the right eye color, and he's gonna have a certain type of job, and he's gonna like the exact same music. Do not do that. Most of those guys that are emailing you are absolutely not the ones you're looking for. So when you eliminate a lot of the ones that are clearly not for you, you actually don't have that many responses. I don't care how good you look. The selection it's not going to change the selection. I mean, of course, the better you look, you're going to attract more people. But if you're looking for a quality guy who's looking for a quality woman, he's going to be focused more on your personality than your looks. So being more attractive is not really going to have that much of an effect. Someone like me, for example, you could look like a supermodel, and that's not really going to get you that much more points. What's going to get you points is your personality. I'm focused on you as a person, you know, what you're bringing to the table more so than your looks. So slow your roll, and again, follow all these 10 tips that I gave you. So one of the many tips I said is be flexible, right? So with that flexibility, that's going to come an attitude of, you know, hey, I'm getting a lot of emails, but most of these emails are trash, right? So before you get full of yourself and think you're so hot and all this kind of stuff, realize that, you know, you're looking for a very unique guy who's going to be, you know, it takes some time to find, right? So don't be too super picky. Now, if you're looking for a guy just for fun, short-term relationship, or you're looking for casual sex, then by all means, you can have that attitude. You can pick the exact guy you want, you know, how he looks and whatever job he has and whatever it is. You can be super picky. But if you're looking for long-term, you're looking for a quality relationship, then your selection is not as big as you think. All right, so drop the ego and take your time to find that Mr. Right. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you think these are some good tips, go ahead and share it with your friends, share it on Facebook, on Twitter, and also give the video a thumbs up, and of course subscribe. And I'm going to be putting up a lot more videos like this right here on this channel. So thanks for watching, and good luck on your search on finding Mr. Right. Oh, that video was a lot longer than I planned on. And I can eat my my cup of noodles. You see what I'm eating here, ladies? Help me out. Help me out. I'm eating a cup of noodles. I normally cook food, but this is my lazy. I know this is really bad for me. I normally eat really good food. I eat a lot of vegetables, but it's convenient. Throw a little hot water in there. I know I'm eating like a college kid. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Why do guys cheat so much? If a guy doesn't feel like he's going to get rejected, he's got some kind of a reason to believe that he doesn't have anything to worry about as far as being rejected.